this is my second road trip with a car. I want to share with you guys my impressions as I'm taking about a 700-mile road trip. I'm going from Salt Lake to St. George. I'm going to visit my buddy Josh, aka Gone in 59. It's funny because this time last year, he was heading with me out to Iowa to bring back my Bullet Mustang. So I've had some time with the car. I've had some fun experiences the last couple days in the car. So let me give you guys my impressions of my second road trip in my Chevy Camaro 2SS 1LE. Well, we had the first throw up in the car.
And I made a noise like this.
My little daughter, I think I might have made her a little bit sick from my driving last night, but she threw up in the back seat of the car. So the Camaro's fully broken in, baby, fully broken in. But I'm glad she's feeling better. I think it was just probably my driving. I don't know, but I feel so bad for her. But she's doing better. She's feeling totally fine. But this car is so fun to drive on road trips. It's not the most comfortable of the three cars that I've driven on road trips. The Challenger by far kind of trumps it, and I even ranked the Mustang in second. But this by no means is a slouch. This car is plenty comfortable. These Recaro seats, after just a little bit of time for me and my body type, they're okay. They're okay. But what I can tell you this is you're gonna have a really hard time in an LT1, a ZL1, a 1SS, a 2SS, putting this car on cruise control, because this car just wants to eat. It just wants to rip. And I find myself doing very fast speeds without really even noticing really quick. So if you are taking a road trip, you almost have to set it and forget it when it comes to cruise control. Otherwise, you guys are gonna be just going exceptionally fast. So what I will say is driving this car at nighttime, last night, the sun was kind of going down and it was just amazing. It was beautiful. And the interior lighting in this car, oh man, just how the car just lit up. I'll show some screenshots and some videos, but so fun, so rewarding, so enjoyable. But just that scenery last night and just kind of going down through some of the canyons on the way down to St. George, some of the Red Rock, the lighting, just the sunset. This car is awesome to drive at nighttime.
Look at those palm trees, damn!
This is probably, nighttime is probably my most favorite time to drive this car, just because the interior lighting in this car is unlike anything else you have driven, and it is just so worth it, in my opinion, to get it. Another couple impressions of the car. So I've noticed a couple things. The Bose sound system in this car is awesome. It rocks. When driving this car, I have noticed back by the rear window, and this is the same from my first road trip video that I did, I've noticed some rattling back there, and there's really no carpeting underneath the speakers back there. So I need to get back there and kind of play around with it and see. My other impressions, if you are gonna buckle like a child in the back seat with a car seat or even just a booster seat, I've had this issue multiple times that for whatever reason, the seat belt, like if you buckle a child in, then you unbuckle and you go back to buckle a child in, it's really hard to get the buckle back into place. I don't know why. I've never had that issue in any of my cars, but I have to like reposition. I have to pull it out to try and put it in. But for whatever reason, the seat belt doesn't want to buckle, and I have to like readjust it. I have to re-slack it, so it's kind of a pain. And I will say this is the hardest car, in my opinion, to get the car seats in. For whatever reason, the little handles down below the seat to try and hook up a car seat, they're a little bit harder to get to. They're a little bit deeper than some of the other cars that I've had. But those are minor things. I bet 95% of you are never gonna put a child in the back of these cars, but it's for sure doable. It's really easy to do. And I will say this car just has a touch more road noise than the other cars that I've driven. And I know a lot of that can depend on tires. I really don't know with these stock tires that come with the Camaro 1LE package. Obviously they're meant more for track use, but I'd be curious to switch these tires up to see if I get a little bit less road noise, because I do notice a little bit more road noise in the car. And I notice in some of my other videos when I am going on the freeway and filming it for you guys that there is a little bit more road noise, but it's not bad at all. This car is an awesome cruiser. You have a lot of technology. Seeing is great out of it. Being able to look out of the rear view mirror is just fantastic. Let me show you guys. And just being able just to have this feature just makes it so nice just to see out of the rear view mirror of the car. It looks a lot clearer than this. Obviously, I'm getting some reflection and some different stuff, but it just makes it so nice and easy on a road trip. Another thing that's just so awesome with this car in particular is the performance data recorder. And I know I've touched on this, but as a YouTuber, that is one of the coolest things for me, is to be able, like last night, you know, like when the sun was setting, I can get those shots. I can record it. Now, granted, it's in 720p and the quality is not that great, but just to be able to record yourself, like the front of the car driving and shifting through gears, is totally worth the $1,300 package, in my opinion, especially if you're a YouTuber. Just the extra content that you can get from that is absolutely phenomenal, and is one of my favorite things outside of the interior lighting that I just love about this car, because it allows you to capture stuff. It allows you to record and do things. Now, as far as gas mileage, this is how I'm doing on the trip. 21. This car does way better than that, but I've done some spirited driving, to say the least. If you look at my overall from the entire time I've had it, I'm averaging 18 miles to the gallon, and I've got almost 3,700 miles in the car. So, you know, it's definitely lower than my Mustang, but I will say my Challenger and this car are very on par in terms of gas mileage and what I've seen. But we'll see as the car breaks in, we'll kind of see how it goes. And another thing that we are trying out on this trip is the Draggy. And guys, I'm telling you, if you don't have one of these, buy one. I will leave a link in my description below for you guys to buy. It's like 150 bucks. But if you guys are going on a long road trip and you get a stretch where there's nobody on there, and say maybe you want to test out 60 to 100, or maybe faster than that, or maybe slower than that, but obviously go the speed limit. I don't recommend going above the speed limit. But it's really fun to couple that with recording yourself on Draggy and measuring how fast you can go to certain speeds. It's fun to play around with because it shows you like elevation. It shows you just so many different things as you're driving. And I think it's kind of a must, especially if you're going on a road trip, because say you get at a place where it's low elevation and you want to try out maybe a speed test or a quick 0 to 60 run, or maybe you're at higher elevations. It just makes it so fun to be able to do that. And what I love about this car, shifting from the Draggy, is the ability to really not have to look down or adjust anything. I don't have to look down and see how fast I'm going. I just have to look right there, and it's really easy. If I want to adjust the temperature, I don't have to figure out like, okay, where do I have to go through here? I just kind of touch it and I can adjust it right here, which makes it really, really nice. So one of the best features, in my opinion, outside of some of the other things that I've mentioned, is how well this car handles. And I think that's really important for a road trip. If you guys are wanting to cruise through some canyons, if you're wanting to cruise, you know, on some sharp corners, this car handles it so well and so flawlessly. This car, in my opinion, has the best chassis compared to my Mustang and my Challenger, and it's not even close. This car, you can be doing some very aggressive speeds, and it handles the corners, and it doesn't even feel like it's like having to work at. It doesn't feel like the car is going to get away from you. It feels so planted. That is probably the biggest highlight that I think anybody can take away from the Camaro, and it's their chassis. GM, Chevy, you guys did a phenomenal job tuning the chassis on these cars. And honestly, guys, this car is an awesome road trip car. The Mustang is an awesome road trip car. The Challenger is an awesome road trip car. You cannot go wrong. And, you know, is this car the most comfortable out of my road trip cars of those three? No, but it gives me other things in place of that. The handling, some of the technology, some of the cool features that I talked about at night. So overall, great road trip car, guys. I highly recommend it. Those are some of my pros. Those are some of my cons. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.